What's going on, my fellow troops? My name is Xavvo. Welcome back to a brand new video. So today I thought I'd take it on myself to have a little ramble about Vanguard. Wow, what's new, right? But in this case, we're going to talk about kind of the game overall. So more of like an update about what I think about the game, campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and really just what I think in depth about each of these little things, and if my opinion has kind of changed from about 8 months ago or so, because I think I made a video like not too long after the game came out, and I was saying like, oh, why is Vanguard so hated, and I was going on about how it was such a good game, and I do stand by a lot of that. But real quick before we get into this video, I heard that a whopping 96.8% of you happen to be not subscribed to the channel. So if it happens to be you and you don't know what I upload around here, I basically upload topic, news, tutorials, discussions, gameplays, whatever you might think of inside of Call of Duty. So if that's of any interest to you, do consider hitting subscribe today. It's completely free, and hit the notification bell right next to it so you get notified for future videos. It really means a lot. And yeah, but with that being said, let's get into the video. So what really kind of, I guess, inspired me to make this video is I was sort of chilling a few days ago. I was playing a lot of campaign in Vanguard. Actually, I finished it completely. It was very, very fun. I finished it on Veteran, so the first time I started playing the campaign, I was like, I might as well just go into Veteran and do it first time, because I don't want to go back and replay it again. That will be very annoying. So I already knew what happened in the campaign, because I literally watched Jev's sort of walkthroughs or gameplays, I guess, on the campaign. So I already saw the whole of Vanguard's campaign, and I thought it was pretty decent. So I was like, you know what, I'll actually play it. I won't keep being so presumptuous and saying it's going to probably be boring because it's World War II, and actually play it. And I did have a good time, needless to say, of any errors that could have been in there or other stupid bugs. I still enjoyed it, and yeah, I was spending a lot of time on the campaign, and I recently got a video on my homepage, so in my recommended, basically, from a YouTuber called Fully, I think, and he's another small creator with about 5k subscribers, and he was talking about his issues with Vanguard and why he's kind of gotten to the no return point of he can't be bothered with the game, and if they fuck up another season, he's just gonna quit. And he made some very good points about it, because obviously what we've kind of been fed over these seasons is really not that much, and I think most of us can agree with that. But a lot of people are kind of just falling trap to this. If you see a lot of people who are playing Vanguard are bumming it off, a lot of them will tell you it's a fantastic game and there's so much content, when in actuality there really isn't, and they've probably just been completely brainwashed by the lack of content, to the point where they think any little bit more than they usually get, which is not very much, they think that's a lot of content, when if you compare it to previous Call of Duty titles we have had, it's just very embarrassing lack of content. But it was really making me think, because I was like, I'm spending so much time in campaign, what has happened to my perception of this game? Because before, you would have found me saying multiplayer is awesome, you don't need to get a game for the campaign, because why don't you just get it for the multiplayer? You know, multiplayer is one of the best parts of the game. It doesn't really matter if the zombies isn't that good, because look, I did it, I bought the game and just played multiplayer. But really, that was a terrible point to make, because I'm basically saying, hey guys, look, it doesn't matter if it's not worth your money, because some of it's good, and obviously people want their money's worth. And I think since then my opinions have definitely shifted. Not entirely, I do still give the game credit where it's due. The campaign is solid, very, very innovative, a lot of creative and fancy sort of cutscenes and sort of, I guess you could say, panning of the cameras and shit. It was very cinematic and very, very artistically sort of worked out. You were basically on a mission to go, I don't want to spoil this too much, but you're basically on a mission to try and find out what Operation Phoenix is, and in between the prison sort of sentences that you're in, like just being in the cage and stuff, and being brought out to be questioned, you were basically seeing flashbacks or throwbacks to earlier years where you played as each individual character in sort of their element, I guess, and where they came from. And it was a very interesting campaign, and it made me think, you know, I've been playing so much of the campaign recently, and it's almost like I've forgotten that it's the same game. I don't know how many of you have experienced this, but when I'm playing campaign in Vanguard, I sometimes think, wow, this is such a really, really good game, and then I think, oh fuck, I forgot this was actually the same game that has the terrible multiplayer and the really fucking dog shit zombies, and it really surprised me because the campaign was a lot of fun. I've been spending a lot of time on that, and now it kind of brings me on to, well, what has my opinions sort of changed from over the months, I should say, about multiplayer. What's happened, because clearly you could see at the very start of the game I was making videos saying how good it was, I was actively posting about it, and obviously since I finished Atomic, I've sort of not been on the throttle with all the content and all this how-tos and shit, and you can obviously watch my other videos where I've explained, I think I had a video recently explaining why I've stopped doing tutorials as much, and I've kind of tried to do this over the years, to be honest, but I think since I've finished Atomic, I'm left in the same shitty position that I have been with every other prior Call of Duty game, where if there's nothing else to do in the camo grind, I'm practically bored. And the thing that's even worse about this is I'm not even finished with this camo grind. I have the weapons from this season to do, and I think there's a weapon or two that's supposed to come out in the Reloaded update, and yet I'm still feeling as if I've got nothing to do, and it's really funny because surely I should just go on the game and camo grind, but it really isn't like that, and I found it more to be that I'm actually enjoying zombies more and campaign than multiplayer, which is very opposite to what it used to be about 8 months ago. I was avidly playing multiplayer, grinding it every single day. Now, I find it even just a challenge to hop online and actually try and get in some grind, because I've not really been doing much, and you'd think I should have lots of time to play Vanguard, and I really don't want to. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to make the class setups here and there because people are really enjoying the Cold War class setups, but I'm not full throttle on the tutorials. I've pretty much stopped doing tutorials as much as I can just to try and savor the channel's juice, if that makes sense. I don't want to bring this channel to the point where it's some sort of funnel for shitty cookie cutter content that just pretty much is just tutorial, and nobody wants to come back, because then there's no community, and if there's no community, the channel is fucking dead. So that is why I've been doing that. But it made me really think when I sat down and just evaluated my entire stance on Vanguard. I'm starting to think I'm more addicted than I'm actually enjoying it. And again, this doesn't take away from the campaign being very enjoyable. I enjoyed it a lot, and that's, again, needless to say, of any errors I experienced. I had errors where I think it was during taking out Steiner's troops in Lady Nightingale mission. I pretty much was like trying to take down one of the snipers, and when I came to sort of try and, well, take down him from behind, after he'd basically knocked me away, my screen was completely frozen. I was like stuck in position. I couldn't actually do anything. Every time I tried to restart from last checkpoint, it would just replay the same takedown effect, and then I'd be stuck in the same freeze effect. So I would ultimately have to restart the entire mission, which takes you back to the very start of the mission, and not the checkpoint which you've probably spent like half an hour working up to. So it's very obnoxious, these little bugs where freezing happens. There was a few weird fuzzy glitches that happened on screen. I think the only time that ever really happened for me was, I think on, I can't remember which one it was called. It might come back to me after recording this, but it was the operation where you're playing as Arthur Kingsley, and I think it's on that mission that basically has the big windmill that's on fire, and you reunite with your group, and you basically have to go on and sort of push your way without a leader, and I think it's where Arthur kind of becomes the leader. That mission, basically, I was doing that mission, and there was a weird scene after plummeting out of the planes and then landing into the water. When I swam up onto the dirt, I was getting this weird pixelation error on screen. It was very, very strange. So there are some strange bugs and other weird things, and let's not even begin to talk about the mobility inside of the planes. If you've played the Battle of Midway, if I'm not wrong, it's the one with the plane mission where you're playing as Wade and you have to fly a plane. Just don't get me started on that. It was very, very obnoxious trying to keep starting over from the same checkpoint to try and not get hit by bullets when doing duck and dive, one of the hardest achievements in the game. Thank God I did get it done, and I did finish everything on Veteran, as I said, and finished every last achievement I could scrape up, so I did it in the end. But again, there is obviously issues with campaign. Now, if we take a look over to zombies, I have been giving this shit non-stop since the game came out. In fact, actually, I tell a lie. I haven't even been given any shit. I've been blatantly ignoring it, if I'm honest with you. I've just not turned an eye to it. Unless I was talking about seasonal updates, I was like, guys, there's this thing in zombies, I guess. And then I would just not care because, I mean, who gives a fuck if they add a new covenant or whatever to zombies? The game is practically dead in this game. But it's really funny because whilst I've been shit-talking this game so much, you know, obviously recently they added in Numa, which is a new round-based map, which I actually thought it was new, but then when I went to get into some of the other ones, you know, the other weird objective-based zombies maps they added in before, you know, the non-round-based maps, I actually found out that there was a time, I think, in one of the objectives you had to do on, I think it's Duran Fang, yeah. I was playing on that, and one of the objectives was to farm us or to do something, and during part of it, you're actually on a segment of the Numa map, so it actually kind of made me realize, it's not actually all that new. Maybe there's an Easter egg and a story behind this map, but that they've made with this new round-based map, but generally speaking, it's just a segment of one of the maps you can already go on in the Duran Fang map, so it's kind of funny. But I was really surprised by how good Numa was. I was actually having a lot of fun with it recently, which is so weird. You'd think I'd be playing multiplayer more, but I've been having more fun with zombies than multiplayer, and that is actually quite hard to admit to, but it's true. And that is because I was having so much fun in round-based, and I had a bunch of achievements to do in the objective-based ones, like Duran Fang and the other one. I went back and played them, did the objectives, sort of just tried to chill on them and have some fun, and I actually kind of enjoyed them. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoy zombies in Vanguard, and that's really weird to admit. The objective ones are not terrible. They're not for everyone, obviously. I'm personally not a huge fan of them. I do prefer the round-based, sort of classic, traditional zombies, but it wasn't horrendous, and I've been playing quite a bit of zombies recently, as you might have seen from one of my previous videos, and I did enjoy it. I have been having quite a bit of fun. Now, that takes me back to multiplayer. What's been going on? I have weapons that are new from this season that I want to do, but I'm not having fun. This is what really made me think, should I make a video about this? Because I've literally been watching this Fully guy, and I was just like nodding my head submissively just at what he was saying, and I was thinking, yeah, that this is true. There is a lot of errors. I've actually kind of come to forget that. Why are we getting so many ping issues? Like now in Vanguard, if you go into multiplayer, ever since the game started, you have ping issues whenever you try to load a game up. I don't know if you have to have some super fucking fast wired internet or an Ethernet cable running to your Xbox exclusively to not have errors in this game, but apparently in multiplayer there is non-stop ping, and I forgot all about it because, again, I have been so completely brainwashed and addicted to this fucking game and its camera grind that I have kind of just I've sort of turned a blind eye to the errors, because at this point I'm just like, I don't care, I'm so fucking bored. And it's actually so dumb. There is so many problems with internet in this game. I swear half the time it's lagging more than it actually needs to, even when my internet is having seemingly no problems whatsoever. And it's so annoying, it's so obnoxious. You play on multiplayer and you've got these weapons to grind, but the camo grind are the same things over and over. You might get a few varying sort of challenges, but it's just one of those slow, tedious processes of grinding a weapon out, going into a match, and having people basically bombard you with gammon bombs, fucking Molotovs, people calling in mortar strikes and precision strikes or whatever they are. You know, people doing like bombing runs, basically. Just the whole lot is like just being thrown into a fucking salt bath. Like, there's still a lot of people playing in it, but I just don't know how these people are actually enjoying it, because I haven't been enjoying it myself. A lot of people haven't been enjoying it, and it's actually really embarrassing. I've tried to go into certain game modes to do long shots with the snipers before, and I would legitimately never get into a lobby for some of these big Champion Hill type game modes and whatnot, where I would never touch them with a 50-foot barge pole. I would have to touch them for that one time just to get a challenge done, and there would be nobody inside of a lobby, and that just says volumes about this game. There's literally not much of an active player base from what I'm seeing. I do see similar usernames popping up in the game that I've seen from previous matches, and yes, I know that's part of matchmaking. You do get people who get thrown out, other people who stay in and whatnot. That's just kind of how it works. But I see people that I've recognized from probably weeks or months ago. It is so baffling. Like, the player size must be so bad that they don't want to show off the player count, and they haven't done probably for many years in Call of Duty, because it's probably quite embarrassing, let's be honest. But it's just giving me like Black Ops 4 vibes. I'm seeing people that I see quite regularly in my lobbies, and that's saying something. So I just want to kind of wrap it up. Do I think Vanguard is a shit game? Yes and no. Of course, that's going to generally be my response to a lot of things. I'm not trying to be neutral. I generally do think this game has solid qualities. I do think it gets a lot of unneeded hate where it's not warranted. I do think the game tried to meet higher expectations, higher levels with certain things, but I just think they should take more focus onto gameplay, trying to improve the gameplay if they can, because they spend so much time on the visuals, which again, I will say they are fantastic, but they need to take more effort and more appreciation to the actual game, because the contrast in the campaign to the multiplayer is very large. It's a very large contrast, and I've just not been enjoying it. It's very repetitive. It's very miserable, actually. I've been spending most of my days now waking up late in the afternoon, faffing around, basically just eating food and sitting on my phone, completely bored out of my brains, and yet I have a Call of Duty game in front of me, and I have a channel where I could upload videos, and I don't feel like I want to do it, because Vanguard is legitimately becoming kind of washed out and a little bit dead. Let's be fair. So the game is great, but there is very obvious problems with this game, and I really can't wait for Modern Warfare 2. I do think I might make a Modern Warfare 2 video, what I want to see in Modern Warfare 2. I don't know, would you guys want to see that? I don't know. I might do, I might not. I'm not really too much of an expert. I'll usually just, again, submissively nod my head to any Call of Duty game and just play it anyway, because I'm ultimately not your FaZe Xavvo with every single sort of idea that bursts to mind about what a game should have, because I'm not a fucking developer. I don't know what a game needs and what not, and I'm not really too much of an expert on what the games actually bring to them and what they're supposed to mean and if they're bad or good. Sometimes I just play, and if I don't like something, I'll make a video, and that's it. But I hope going forward the Call of Duty games are not as sweaty. There's not people fucking blowing up chemicals left, right, and center, and people fucking shooting each other with meta weapons. And I hope they tone down the SBMM. But this game is not terrible. It has been very strange. I've had a lot of weird experiences with multiplayer recently, just not feeling like I'm myself anymore, playing a lot of campaign and zombies, and that just seems to keep changing back and forth. I might be playing multiplayer soon and telling you that zombies is shit. I don't know. Yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to smash a like on this video. It really means a lot. And if you watched this far without skipping any parts of the video, be sure to comment down below. Grenade. And yeah, but other than that, thank you everyone for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye guys.